and welcome to this very special episode of Movie of the Year. This one, we're joined by Greg, the usual host of Movie of the Year.
Wait, hang on. This is a special episode?
This is a special episode wherein we are going through...
I'm a big boy!
That was really good. That's exactly what that sounds like.
That was very good. Classics.
Why is this a special episode?
Skadoosh.
This is a special episode because we are doing...
You're just ugly.
The best album...
Don't I do a good bear from Annihilation?
Mike,
that was awesome.
That was very good. There's a reason this is a special episode is because we are...
This is awesome.
This is great. This is great for us.
Please don't touch the actual drop pad.
Hey, guys.
That's...
It's
not right.
Hey guys, the reason that this is a special episode.
Taylor, would you just tell us why it's a special
The reason
episode?
this is a special episode is that we are counting down the best.
You were so close, but then you died.
We're doing. I got to start over.
You got to start all the way from the beginning.
Fuck me. We are going. We're doing the
did not
bracket
masturbate today.
We are doing the bracket for the top 16 albums of 2019, and we are going to decide the best album of the year. We have already in the preview show told you what the albums are, and now we are going to actually go through and decide on them. How are you guys feeling in general about the bracket?
Amped, obviously. We're so anxious and excited we don't want to get to it, which is why we interrupted you forever.
Are you using the royal we, or is that just like...
Yeah, we are Venom, we are farmers, and we are amped.
Because I'm not excited about this at all. This sounds very difficult, and I feel like every year on this show, I just absolutely pull down my pants and show that I have no taste in music at all.
And that, like, we know that now, and so we're going to be even more careful, and then sound even stupider than ever.
I know. That's how it is.
I'm going to aim to try to sound really smart, and then I'm going to just absolutely beef it and not acknowledge it. So I am, just so that you guys know, when I say stupid things, I'm doing that intentionally.
Okay.
All right.
So that's, I just
Oh,
want to...
we're allowed to just make that claim? Yeah, me too. Ditto on that.
You know...
If I'm stupid, I made it on purpose.
Don't copy my thing, you fucking poser.
I've been stupid since before you were born.
That's... yeah, I know you are, but what am I?
I was born stupid and I'll die dumber.
I'm a big boy. I am. Hey, I'm a big boy.
Yes,
I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy.
Can we get the show on the road?
Producer Dave is fucking going nuts with Drop Head right now.
Just okay. So let's start the show, and no one else interrupt me.
I would say, thank you for asking, Taylor, that it was an odd bracket.
But there's also some even seeds on here, right,
Oh
Ryan?
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you
A
see?
skadoosh to you, sir. A skadoosh
See?
to you
This
and
is
yours.
what you do to me every day.
Oh, so that gives you the right to be an asshole?
Yes.
All right. I was surprised by the amount of, I don't want to say boring.
Some of these were boring.
Yes.
Thoughtful.
Boring is an accurate word.
Okay.
There was not a lot of on this.
Well,
bracket.
I would say that, like, 2 months out, this bracket seemed like it was only going to be boring singer-songwriter. And thankfully, more albums came out, or the board re-looked at all the lists. It's at some point, it was just Nat Time music from front to back, and that shifted a lot.
And I'm really interested in, there's a huge crop of female singer-songwriters.
Yes.
And will that be damaging?
They're gonna split the vote
Yeah,
like
they're
5
gonna
different
cancel
ways.
each other out.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna run the bracket.
And I'm going to be like that. I'm going to say that Angel Olsen song 17, and you guys are going to scream
You
at me.
son of
that
a bitch.
it's Sharon Von Etten, and I'm going to be embarrassed forever.
Yeah, you'll feel like a real ass.
Could you imagine when he said that? Could you imagine not instantly knowing that wasn't correct? How embarrassing would that have been? I sat here knowing that was not right and being like, oh, this is very clever what he's doing. But I could think other people maybe wouldn't have known.
No, yeah.
And that would have been disturbing
Thank
for
you for
them.
speaking up for them.
that would have
Yeah.
been a real bummer.
I just wanted them to know, skadoosh.
Okay, so that is the intro. Now we're
Just
gonna.
reading off the script.
I love signposting. It's so helpful.
That is the intro that we just did. Now we're gonna do the bracket, the part that you all care about. But first, gotta read off that ding dangle bracket.
One White Claw, folks. One
It
White
went
Claw.
from very clear to very confusing.
You almost had it cinched up. You're like, bring it up over. I got a
Let's read off that bracket.
to bitty bada back.
The first matchup will be Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell versus the 16 seed 1000 Gex by 100 Gex. The number 3 seed When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish, and Kiwanuka by Daniel Kiwanuka.
Michael?
Also,
Michael Kiwanuka?
Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Who's Daniel? I was thinking Dave.
That's the actor.
Yeah, that's from Get Out.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Titanic Rising by Way As Blood versus 'Cause I Love You by Lizzo. Purple Mountains by Purple Mountains versus Remind Me Tomorrow by Sharon Van Etten. Igor by Tyler the Creator versus Father of the Bride by Vampire Weekend. All Mirrors by Angel Olsen against Doggerel by DC Fontaine, or Fontaine's DC, however you do it. Magdalene.
Whatever's clever.
Yeah, whoever. Magdalene by FKA Twigs. Jamie versus Jamie's Brittany Howard.
Jamie versus Brittany Howard versus FKA Twigs.
Yeah. Kramer versus Kramer. And finally, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds Ghosteen against Psychodrama by Dave. That is our bracket. That's where we're going through, and we're gonna do it right after this. Now we are going to kick off our bracket with our number 1 seed, Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell, versus number 16 seed, and my pick for the bracket, 100 Gex, 1000 Gex. In the 1v16 matchup, we have the foremost purveyor of retro Americana up against the underdog New Kids on the Block, blending every popular musical sound from the last decade into a new sound of American music. My question to you is, which one sounds more like its influences, and which one makes the most out of them?
Okay. The one that sounds most like its influences is Lana Del Rey, Norman fucking Rockwell. It's kind of like a stew versus a cat in a blender.
Yes.
Well, and okay, so for 1000 Gex, the reference is it's all a reference to Mario Paint, the song you could make in that game.
It's all Mario Paint. Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds like its reference.
Yeah, because I do think that 100 Gex, the way that they make music is, what is every different style of music that has been even slightly popular in the last 10 years, and let's distill that into its like foremost essence.
I mean,
and throw them all together.
There's many songs, but there's one song I'm thinking of on 1000 Gex where they just randomly hit buttons on the keyboard where you turn it into that like sound effect phase.
Yes.
So like dogs bark, cats blend.
It's
Yeah.
something
Sirens,
about being
everything goes
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, just go.
Stupid Horse, though?
Stupid
I
Horse.
love Stupid Horse.
Yeah,
Great
okay.
fucking song.
This is it actually is a pretty cool album, I felt like.
Yes.
Oh, it's
And-
great.
yeah.
I wasn't
So
saying it
fun.
bad. Cat in a Blender is the best thing in the world.
Yes. And the way that they make these songs is they live across the country and they just email each other back and forth a Logic profile until they're like, it's done.
Do you think Postal Service is bummed? They're like, oh, we could have made a fun album by emailing each other songs?
Yeah.
Is that why they're named that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Where
okay,
100
so-
Gex used 100 geckos to take theirs back and forth. Sorry, Caitlin, go.
Oh, this is like the hardest matchup out of like all of these. I feel like because
Okay.
Let's settle down a little bit.
Talk about that
Here's-
more.
well, because I feel like Lana Del Rey, it's like really good and like perfect in a certain sense, and then like 100 Gex is doing something really different. Like I feel like it's doing what Sophie tried to do.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Oh.
Throw that old
And
gauntlet.
successfly did
It
it.
successfully
But, like,
did.
Did
Made
and
it
I
happy
really
and
liked
good.
it. Yeah, like I kept going back to this album and listening to it over and over and over again, like different situations. And they're weird songs, but they really do fit. And I don't know why I connect so.
And they
much to these
slap.
Weird
Yeah, they-
Oh, I
they
know.
do slap.
This is Caitlin in an album. Like
This is
this
my brain.
It
Yeah.
never stops. It's everything you see around you just thrown together, and it should be annoying, but it's delightful.
It is.
Fucking
Caitlin's
Caitlin in
just
an
a piss
album.
baby.
And you're a piss baby for sure.
Somebody took that like Nyan cat, the little
cat?
the pop what is it, Pop-Tart
It's a
cat,
little
Yeah.
Pop-Tart cat.
and turned it into a complete album.
yeah.
Yes,
Instead-
absolutely.
But I think there are so many bad versions of what 100 Gex is doing, but I do think silly isn't dumb. I think lyrically they're doing what Das
Yes.
Racist used to do. It's Dadaist and repetitive on purpose until you're like, it's just sounds, and what do those sounds mean?
Yes.
It deconstructs pop completely. It's fucking great.
They have to know exactly what they're fucking doing in order to do this and pull it off, and they do.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part is that it feels like anybody could do this, but just riding the fence of not being too silly or too purposefully like, oh, this is going to be weird. Like instrumented weird, you know? Like I'm going to aim for weird and hit there. They stay on this side of the fence the entire time.
So, speaking of purposefulness, Lana Del Rey.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue. The Lana Del Rey put out an album that is very heavily like she is all of her music is I am taking like Americana and like making it my own and doing this like I'm sad in LA, which is a thing that people have done for ages and ages. Like she is like Joni Mitchell or like any other singer-songwriter, but doing it modern modern take.
She aims and goes, this is my Joni Mitchell, this is my Van Morrison, this is my Beach Boys. But in a way, like, most people's signposting would be annoying. And at the first, you're like, I understand the reference. This is, all the great albums bear repeat listening, but this is definitely one that every time you listen again, more gets carved out. And you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
With all those influences on the sleeve, the other thing it reminded me of is, like, what if Amy Winehouse wasn't going to die? You know, like, what if she was just fucked up enough to not die soon? That's sort of what this album is.
But the thing that I keep, because I loved this album, I listened to it on repeat when it came out. The thing that I keep coming back to is that there are sections of the album where she has like very vapid and like sort of silly lyrics, which is like I listen to and I go, oh, this is her doing a 100 Gex style parody.
Isn't that par for the course with her?
Yes, that is a lot.
Summer
of her.
Bummer, like
yes.
She uses that lyric on like almost every album.
Yes, and so
every bummer's a summer.
And so I thought that. Like, that's an interesting thing that she's doing. But then there are critics who said that, and she responded very poorly to them. It's like, how dare you? I've never put on a persona. This is all me. It's on my sleeve.
But I think that's also when you're so in your persona. Kiss at no point is going to be like, of course this is silly what we're doing. Like, and she's better than Kiss because who couldn't be? But I do think, like, that response was part of her bullshit.
Yeah.
Kiss couldn't be.
I mean, her real name is, like, Jane Springfield.
Yeah.
And she named herself Lana Del Rey. Like, right there.
Like, she is the queen of, like, authentic inauthenticity.
Right.
Like from the beginning, like she was sold as she's just like a nobody from nowhere, but she had major label backing from like day one, and they just fabricated a backstory for her. But like
it used to be like so many like singer songwriters are just telling stories back in the 70s, but we've become like, I think punk influenced pop in a bad way, where it's like everything has to be authentic, right? And so now we're like trying to trick ourselves and believe that every Taylor Swift song really happened to her. And I think Lana Del Rey is going back to like, I'm just a storyteller, bro.
Yeah,
but
she's
in that
just
she also
doing
has
a
to
thing.
fake the funk, so she's doing both at once.
And like with the title of the album, like Norman fucking Rockwell, it feels like she's just painting a picture of like sounds and feelings that is very good. I like it. I like this album a lot. It's a good album. All right, it's now the time where we have to decide which one of these moves on, and this is the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seed. We're starting with Cassie. Which one?
I'm going 100 Gex.
Oh,
that is 1 for 100 Gex. Ryan?
It was. Thank you, Taylor, for that album. Like, you've never made a suggestion that worked as well as that.
I specifically thought, I think Ryan will actually like this one.
Well, thank you for thinking that. You should think that more. But let's not go fucking crazy. This is the number 1 seed. It's Lana Del Rey.
Okay, that is tied up. Greg, I almost just called you
Mom.
Yes, I did almost just call you
I'm
Mom.
sure
It's the
that
same
happens
hair.
a lot.
You seriously was like, Mom, it's your turn.
Mom, it's your turn.
Like, all right, I'm done making your sandwich. I echo Ryan's statement fully, all the way down to Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, that makes sense. Caitlin.
I absolutely love 1,000 Gex, so I'm gonna go with 1,000 Gex. I thought you guys weren't gonna like it as much, but I absolutely love this album.
It is all tied up at 2-2. McKenna.
I loved the 100 Gex album, 1,000 Gex. I really, really loved it. But I have to go with Lana Del Rey.
All right.
Because,
Thank goodness.
Like, stands the test of time is my measurement here. And I think it's going to do a little better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a little more timeless, I would say.
Hey, Mike, what are you picking?
Well, I think you're just saying it's timeless because it sounds like songs from 40 years ago. But maybe timeless is sounding like songs from 20 years from now.
Yes.
If this was 2 weeks
Did
ago,
he pause for
Yeah,
laughter?
dude, he really did. He just gave us a big smile.
If this was 2 weeks ago, I would have voted for 100 Gex, and then I just kept listening to Lana Del Rey because I was like, it has to be the world's number 1 for a fucking reason, and it just is. It just that there's more than seems at first. It's Lana Del Rey.
Well,
Lana Del Rey all day.
Lana baby.
Del Taco.
All right, well, Lana Del Rey moves on. Next up is the matchup between Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Ghosteen versus Dave, Psychodrama. Nick Cave recorded this as the first album after his son died and imported all that loss into the music.
Jesus.
While Dave takes a loud and aggressive approach to dealing with his demons on a concept album about psychoanalysis. Buddies, which album delivers its message in music better?
In music?
In music.
That's I think an obvious one.
Dave
is very clear on every single thing he's thinking with words at all times.
Yes, he's very clear on exactly how he's feeling.
Let's start with Nick Cave, because I feel like I've heard all 13 Nick Cave albums, and when you hear Nick Cave, you definitely have an idea of what that's going to sound like, and this sounds nothing like that. This is as different a sound.
Which is why when Taylor said his son just died, you made it like you screamed a little bit.
Yeah, well, because I
like puts all the puzzle pieces together, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they totally changed their sound. The whole thing is a dirge. Like, it's not surprising at all, because it sounds like the music of somebody who's deeply in mourning. But it's like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, and that comes across.
Yeah.
Do you think that like hurt, do you think that hurt the album?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
we can't like if he. I think it's actually way more hopeful than that. I think that like I'm sort of like impressed by Nick Cave's future. I think that like he's
Would you fire up Waiting for You?
Would I fire it up?
Fire it up, dude.
Like listen to it? Oh, you mean on
No,
like,
right now
the
he's
DJ. But I think that I think it's way more hopeful. I just think it's hard to get through, but he set a bar and cleared it for sure.
Yes.
You know? And it's not just about what are you going to listen to again.
Yeah.
It's about like he crushed this.
Yeah, and I think like as we do this bracket, we're going to come up again and again against like, do I enjoy listening to this more, or is it a better album, and how we decide between them.
I enjoy listening to this, though. He creates really moody soundscapes. It's almost got like a Pink Floyd sound on some of it.
I do too, but
keep going.
but I was just saying, I don't think that it passes. I just don't think that it passes the which one of these do I want to listen to right now.
That's not a good test, though.
Yeah, it's not. That's such a bullshit test.
But it also felt like work to listen to.
Oh my god! I
But
can't
it
believe
was so
you guys
much
like this.
work.
But like, isn't great literature work? Aren't great movies work?
Great podcast.
Aren't great podcast? Don't we really try your patience, listeners?
But then on the flip side, I think that we have, instead of with music and all of his like big like organ chords, we have a guy who does the same thing with words. And Dave really like it's a PowerPoint presentation
Oh my
of
God.
all the things that Dave has ever
is
thought ever.
Fantastic.
Okay,
I
I was
love
not.
But you
saying
guys
that.
were saying different things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're flipped on this because Gosteen, I literally had to keep stopping and going back because I cannot handle his voice. And like, it's beautiful what he does in the background, but I can't get past his voice and like.
This is not the way he generally sings,
Ooh, man,
and you can
it is
tell.
hard to
Yeah.
listen to for not the lyric reasons.
Yeah.
But see, like I also had to. I probably took 5 shots at this album, like stopping and starting, but still had the opposite effect that you had. You know, like I loved it, still could not sit down and just listen to this whole thing.
Yeah. So my thing with Dave, I did listen to it all in one shot because it is easier to listen to than Nick Cave. I will say that. My thing with Dave is I feel like it is pretty close in sound to another British rappers album that came out this year by Slow Tie, and I feel like that was the better album that didn't end up on the list. And so I couldn't.
So you hold it against it?
Yeah, I couldn't get past like. I feel like they were sort of doing similar things.
So I don't know the Slow Tie album, but I think a lot of people. I think it's very easy to let an accent convince you something is smart.
That is true.
And
Right.
I would say Dave is great background music, and then more you listen, the more you're like, oh, you are 20. You are straight up 20. And people are like, he's doing like a 9-minute opus. Immortal Technique did that years ago. Leslie is probably one of the better songs on here, but it's just the most obvious. These are the most 2 boring albums on this whole bracket going against each other right now. I want to say
But I would say that, like, I think that Dave is sort of, or Psychodrama is a concept album, and you get hit with like these very obvious lyrics in the front. But as the songs go on, the lyrics do become more thoughtful and better put together, as if we're watching him grow, and that is kind of interesting.
That is
His
interesting.
son didn't die, so who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. Still a lot of time. A lot of minutes left on the old clock.
But yeah, Dave, I felt like comparing these 2 albums when I go toe to toe, Dave was a surprise for me. It was not a thing that I had heard of before it was ended up on the bracket, and I enjoyed listening to it. But compared to the, I think, artistic accomplishment that is Ghosteen, I think it doesn't have a lot of chance for me.
I cannot believe that everyone loves Gosteen. Because Cassie, never mind. Go ahead.
I didn't know, like, I feel like an asshole. I didn't know there was a story to this fucking. I didn't get a single fucking thing from this album.
Yeah.
There's generally a story behind every album, though.
That is
Beyond just like, I'm going to whip up some
It
songs.
tell me to listen even without knowing the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I treat this album as people can love it, but I treat it like Moby Dick the book.
Dude, but Moby Dick the book is dope.
It's terrible.
It's Moby
here's a
Dick
question.
is boring as shit, but it's dope.
Moby Dick versus Dave. Go.
But so I want to know if the people who really didn't like Ghosteen, does that mean you loved Dave?
I did enjoy Dave.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed Dave.
Say anything positive about Dave's psychodrama, please.
I just listened to it this morning
I did.
running. It's a really good.
Yeah, it's got an
one to run
energetic
to.
sound.
It's energetic. It's fun.
It's got a cohesiveness.
It has.
Yes.
I mean,
That I really appreciated about
Yeah,
it.
Like, I think its concept albumness is like in the forefront.
Kind
of cool.
I enjoy his flow, and I like the sound of his
Yeah.
voice.
Yes.
really good.
Yeah.
His like
Sonically, it's great.
He commits what is to me the ultimate sin, which is that like on almost every track there is somebody talking, and every time I listen to an album, the first time you hear it, if somebody talks, you're like, oh, okay, but like we're gonna want to listen to
Hear it
this
again.
10 times, and I never want to hear his like psychoanalyst talk ever again.
It's also something too, particularly with all music, but particularly with rap, where if we feel like we're getting messaged, if we're getting messages, then we sort of get turned off.
And when the message is like, I think people are fake. Okay, dude. Like,
What about that fucking fake accent, Dave?
I'm from Russia.
All right.
He's always talking about like how people's chimneys are dirty, and he wants to go and sweep them.
All right, that is all the time we have to talk about this matchup. It's time to vote. Cassie, where are we going?
I got absolutely nothing from Ghosteen because I'm trash apparently, so I'm going with Dave.
no,
right.
Ghosteen is trash.
All right, Psychodrama has won. Ryan.
I was not born in the 909, so I am going with Ghosteen.
Okay. Greg?
I didn't hate Dave, but I really respected Ghosteen. I thought it was the most interesting Nick Cave album in a really long time. So for me, it's Ghosteen.
Caitlin.
I have very strong opinions on this one. I'm going for Dave.
All right, it is tied up once again at 2-2. McKenna.
I was born in the 909, and that's coming through because my vote is for psychodrama.
It is now 3-2 with Dave in the lead. Mike, who are you
Jim,
picking?
Rules of the show. Do you vote?
I vote if there's a tie.
And it's
He's like the vice president of the Senate.
like
Ryan,
vice-
the vice
and
president of the
so-
Senate.
I should have let you have that one.
it's Ghosteen.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, so it is a tie. So it all comes down to me, and it's obviously Ghosteen.
Yes.
Congrats to Dave. You surprised me, and you made a good album.
And congrats to him too, because he was born DJ Silky Raspberry, and then changed his rap name to Dave. I like that.
Shout out to Dave. All right, your next matchup is Billie Eilish's When We Sleep, Where Do We Go? And Michael Kiwanuka's Kiwanuka. One is a 17-year-old juggalette who makes big-budget pop music, and the other is a funk-folk songwriter who did the Big Little Lies song.
Which is which?
In this battle of pop versus funk, which one grooves you more, folks?
Oh.
Grooves. Well, I groove in a particular way,
And if I
that's with my dick.
If I remember correctly, the groove is in the heart?
Yes, groove is in the heart.
Okay.
D-Light would have a
D-Light.
lot to say about that.
Eilish's album is surprisingly groovy because it's whatever. I did not make up the term minimalist pop, so it's not like
Yes.
overly everything, and it just like you can kind of like just jump into the groove of it and let it take you away.
Also, I love intros, and the postmodern intro to this is her retainer's out. So her retainer's out, and I'm ready to start the album. And that's the beginning of the album.
And-
She sounds fucking 17 on that.
What I
CD
love
for
about that
sure.
is because so many people talk about like how dark she is and how pop juggalette she is, which is the perfect fucking description because that's how she dresses. But she is still 17, and 17-year-olds are big and overdramatic and gothy, and also so fucking silly and goobery.
Yeah.
And this between the Invisalign and then the Michael Scarn stuff
Yeah,
sprinkled
so
throughout,
much
like,
Michael Scarn.
It's like what a delight to I get to see so much because if it was only bad guy you'd be like oh no, but there's sprinkled like other personality. You're like just like Lana Del Rey, this is a filter and a persona.
Also, sorry, go Ryan.
I do have to say that just like Lana Del Rey, and I think this is going to come up over and over again in the bracket, we're trying to like get their personality through their lyrics, and then also like, are you fucking with me? Like, what is really her?
Yeah.
And what is like? What is she trying to satirize? And am I getting it? And sometimes she makes me think that I'm not getting it, and she's intimidating me, and I don't like that. I'm a bad guy.
For bad guy, I think that is the song that she sounds the most 17 on.
Yes.
That sounds like someone who has no idea what she's talking about, but is like trying on an identity.
Right.
Like, wait, am I an ingenue? I know I'm just 17, but maybe I'm going to be like a Bad Girl.
Yeah.
Still so authentic for
Yeah,
the 17-year-old.
totally.
It's a song where she says,
wow.
duh.
Duh. And then the breakdown at the end of that song, though, is so dope. When this song gets really heavy right at the end.
I love a good breakdown. So after that, Michael Kiwanuka.
Yeah, is going to just house this album because it's over, everybody. I hope you said what you wanted to say about Billie Eilish because this fight
here's
is
the thing.
over.
Billie Eilish's album is fine.
Yeah, nice.
It's good.
Good job.
There's some very good songs on
She's
it.
17, everybody. She did it.
Guys, this fucking album is so
Holy
so
shit.
fucking good.
Time out.
Yeah.
So it is great. He's great. He's very talented. But can you just recreate a 70s funk album in this day and age and say...
If you do it this well,
Yes.
yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
can.
And-
If you make a perfect album, you can do it any way you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, like the comp that he keeps getting is Curtis Mayfield,
Yes.
who is mostly famous for doing Superfly. I want this guy to have a movie. If this guy could
Yeah.
fucking do all
Yes.
the songs for a movie, I don't care what the movie is. I don't care if it's Darkman 2. Let's do it. I want to hear it.
Listen, he has the main theme song for Big Little Lies. Give him a whole movie already. Just give him a movie.
I want to give him like if he could create the soundtrack to my life, I trust him with anything. It's so good.
Cassie, you're gonna fuck.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. She's like, it's time to fuck. So you guys are saying you'd rather him be the next Bond girl than Billy? Just announced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't.
Singer.
What?
I don't know if.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if he could carry
Bond
that.
girl.
Yeah, Bond Girl has a different connotation.
That's the guy that.
Oh.
So Daniel Craig, like he's in a room, and Daniel Craig comes in. Hello, Michael Kiwanuka.
No, that's all I want to watch now.
Also, intros, dude. This has like one of the strongest just beginnings of the album. Like it's on a short list of best openings.
There's another weird thing about this album that is different from the rest, but closer to the past, which is it dies out as it goes on.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't build. It says like it sort of peaks in the beginning and then just gets slower and sexier. What? What?
I love a slow, sexy unbuild. So, do we have anything else that we want to say about these? It seems like we unexpectedly went one way on this.
No, I think that I think this is kind of expected. I mean, it's a solid album, an album that's like indicative of the year versus one that's just like a timeless instant classic from the first time you listen to it. You know that it's like changing you.
Yeah.
This was one of.
It's so fun.
Just because, so the two battles we've had so far, the timeless ones are the ones that are hearkening back to music that you used to know. Does timeless just mean I've heard this genre before?
No.
I don't know if I need a real answer. It's like a nebulous conversation. But so far with Lana Del Rey and Michael Kiwanuka, it's just like, yeah, this is old music, so it's timeless.
I think timeless means this will be good in 30 years, would have been good 30 years ago,
Yes.
is now, is taken out of time, not just like from the past.
Billie Eilish, as good as her music is, it does very much sound of its time, which is it's pop music, so it should. But like it's the same thing. Like if you listen to a rap song from 2004, it sounds like it's coming out of a Nokia cell phone.
Yeah.
And it sounds very much of its time. That is not.
It
timeless
sounds
music.
like, and in fact is, a meme.
Yes.
I mean, that album is like totally been memeified. This is like, you would hear it in the 70s, and you'll also hear it again in the 40s.
Also, I'm
So-
a little I wonder if Billie Eilish is like sort of a victim of her seeding. You know, like she ranked so high because we were so stoked it was above average.
Yes.
Not that it was great, but because this was a pop album that was above average, we just shot it to the top.
Shoot it up there. It's now time that I'm going to call for a vote. We'll start with Mike. Mike, how are you voting?
I love Kiwanuka's album. My vote is for Billie Eilish.
Very, very good vote. McKenna.
My vote is actually for Kiwanuka. I thought I was going to vote Billie Eilish in this one immediately, but I think I was so surprised by Kiwanuka's album.
It's very good. Caitlin, where are you going? It's tied 1-1.
I'm with Mike. Billie Eilish.
Greg.
That's so cute. You guys aren't even embarrassed. Kiwanuka.
Ryan.
Fuck you.
I think that Billie Eilish has an album in her that could compete in the future. Like, I can see
Yes.
enough here. If we get a little deeper, if we get a little more creative, but I'm going to go with Michael Kiwanuka.
Cassie.
Kiwanuka.
All right.
And that is it. Kiwanuka is moving on. Your next matchup is FKA Twigs Magdalene versus Brittany Howard's Jamie.
This is when it all falls apart.
Oh, boy.
This is the actual hardest fucking matchup.
It
This
hurts.
one is hard.
It's the battle of queer women of color, each taking a very different musical approach to love and loss. With FKA making a weird, sexy alien ballad album, Brittany Howard making a soulful, glitchy R&B album to groove and cry to. Guys, how are we going to decide this?
Let's not. Can we just like say no? Let's move on to the next one. We'll do this next.
This is such a bummer for me.
I'll boot. Ghost. No. How do we do this?
I don't know. And here's the problem. FKA Twigs is, I think, on this list, the only album that I listen to even more than Lana Del Rey's. I think I listened to this more than any album I listened to this year. I love it so much. I listened to Brittany Howard's album this morning, and fuck me, you guys. What
Should
the
have
hell?
done that earlier.
Yeah, you should have done it.
A trend I love is the pop albums, the harder albums, the indie albums. No matter the genre, every album is sad because that's just 2019, baby. Life is hard.
It's time to cry. 20 cry teen.
My other thing too, like when I'm looking at two albums that I'm so torn on, I think about like confidence and like how hard do they put their head down and just run towards whatever they were trying to do. And these are the two best albums at that.
Yes.
This is like I didn't add anything to the conversation. Just now, Taylor.
but you stalled, which we love.
The way that I think I did finally decide between these two, and I have made up my mind, is that there is one song on one of these albums that I think is the best song.
But you can't tell me right now.
It's one of the best songs of the decade, I think, and it is, I think, Cellophane by FKA Twigs.
Cellophane is great.
It's one of the most fucking beautiful songs.
If we were better at our job, it would have been on the 2019 mixtape.
You know,
But
if
we're
we
not.
were.
But that's for the plebeians. This is for like the smart people. This episode.
Oh, fuck.
So
I thought that was Cassie singing.
I love this song, like whole album. I'd never like heard any of her stuff. Like I've heard of her. Before.
Oh, really?
It's
I like am so glad that this is one of the first albums that I listened to on this bracket.
Yes, I will say, based on your response to the explicit sexiness of Janelle
Yeah.
Monáe, do not listen to her previous album.
Yeah, they're dirty songs.
real.
I think 2 weeks is like an actual orgasm on sound.
It's
But-
so good.
But this album, she took a much slower approach and really lit it out, and it makes me want to fight Robert Pattinson.
It's the Let It Out
Oh my
thing.
god!
How dare you hurt
Did
her
he
this
dump
way?
her?
They were
I assume.
engaged.
Yes.
The tabloids
Yeah.
ripped them apart.
That's
Yeah.
how I know who she is.
I'm listening to LP1
Yes.
really helped me out because I think that was my favorite album of that year. But after this, I sort of look at it now as sort of like a breathy, trying, almost there album.
Yes.
And this was the full Phoenix explosion of her.
I apologize for the sound I just made, but that is what I think about.
It's so hard to be sexy and sad at once, and she's the fucking master of that genre. And I don't like a lot of on the nose lyrics, but she has a line that's it's all for the lovers trying to fuck the pain away, and you're like, that's the thesis of this whole album, and I'm for all of it.
Or the other line in Cellophane where she's like, I only eat cellophane. So weirdo.
I feel like it's actually not too difficult for artists to sound sexy and sad, but it's harder to make your listeners feel
Yes.
sexy and sad. And that is
Yes.
what this accomplishes.
Okay, so I feel like I liked FKA Twigs as much as everybody did, but the thing I'm surprised about is I did not love the Brittany Howard album as much
Really?
as you guys.
Speak more on that.
I liked it, but one thing I found the lyrics hyper literal in a way that made me feel uncomfortable.
I could see that.
Just like very literal phrasing of everything, and just less interesting musical arrangements.
It was almost jarring.
Yeah,
to some
it
of
was.
the songs.
It was a choice she obviously made. I'm going
Yeah.
to say things very straightforward, and I just maybe because I'm like poetry kid or whatever, I'm like, maybe do a little bit more.
I consider being like Bob Dylan, like wrapped up all of his messages in like poetry and shit. Nobody understood what he was talking about. I'm just gonna straight up say, here's what I'm talking about.
But like she would like lyrically it would be straight up, but then she would repeat it and change her repetition and how she's enunciating, because she says a goat head in the back like 16 times in a row, and everyone's
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the way she blends like musical history and like gives us a sonic memoir at the same time is mind blowing.
It's the thing that this album reminded me of, and which made me like really fall in love with it, is it sounds kind of like if Moses Sumney tried to make that Double Negative album by Low from last year, which was my favorite. Like it's morphing sound in a very interesting way, but doing it not in that way that was just noise, but in a way that is just like it's noise, but that's other genres of music that we're throwing in here. And it sounds super cool, and I love it, and I love her voice. I think these are the two best vocalists on this list.
That
sure.
yeah.
Like both of them just have incredibly beautiful voices.
And like, not to take anything away from all of the other glorious singers on the bracket, but we're stepping away from the breathiness. There's so much breath on the bracket. So many people utilize that, and these two girls just belt the entire time.
Yes, and it's so fucking good. All right, it's time to call for a vote. Mike, which one you going for?
This is the hardest fucking vote.
I agree.
FKA Twigs LP1 was also my favorite album that year, and my most gone back to album through the years. But this is my favorite album of this year. It's Brittany Howard's Jamie.
Went very well. McKenna.
I actually am going with FKA Twigs.
That is all tied up. Caitlin.
I'm also going FKA Twigs.
Greg.
Yeah, I love FKA Twigs. She's one of my favorite artists, and this album was definitely a welcome entry. So FKA Twigs.
Ryan.
I think Brittany Howard is. She should be a second rounder. This sucks.
Yes,
But
this
she's
is a
out.
bummer.
She's gone.
Yeah, that means she is out. Cassie, your vote doesn't matter, but what would it have been for?
It would have been Brittany Howard.
Okay.
Thank you, Cassie. You're
Thank
my
you.
best friend.
Yeah, so congratulations, FKA Twigs. I am very sorry, Brittany Howard. You had a real tough matchup. Ryan is making motions at me. Now we're going to move on to our next one.
No, it just all day. It just means we.
It
have to
just
take a
means
break.
you're going to take
We
a
have to
break.
take a break.
What else could it possibly mean?
I don't know. That's what I thought, and then he did the jerk off motion.
You're just like,
You honked the horn on the truck for the truck driver.
Ryan's giving me the just roll right through this motion, so I'm just going to roll right through it.
We're now going to take a break. Now we are back, and we are doing some dang old brackets some more. This one is going to be Tyler, the Creator's Igor versus Vampire Weekend's the family person.
Father of the bride.
Father of the bride.
You just watch your mouth
bode well.
when you're talking about the father of the bride.
In the 5v12 seed matchup, we have two artists who were arguably their most famous in 2013, matured their sounds over several years, and triumphantly owned 2019. My question is, which of these albums shows that growth better? Cassie?
I mean, I can't speak as to the growth because I'm an idiot, but I could tell you one set had changed up its sound and had revived my soul, and the other one just felt like it kept dragging on nonstop. And yeah, Tyler the Creator it just brought me back. It had actual BPM in this, and I was like, okay, I'm down.
Vampire Record, you don't have to have an hour and 10-minute long album.
Yeah.
It's so
There
long.
is
It's
10 songs in the middle.
This seems like they're trying to make it last the whole Vampire Weekend.
Oh, very good.
I'm very glad that they're trying to experiment musicians and pushing forward, but it is to the point that we shouldn't have to know that while we're listening to that album. You don't have to put everything on that record.
How about this? Anything that doesn't have a girl from Haim, cut it. Just get it out of there.
Yes.
We don't need it on the album.
I do think that I am very excited for the next Vampire Weekend album, and I did really like this album.
But
I thought it was awesome.
It's their weakest album, though, right?
Vampire Weakest.
Yeah,
We can both do it, Taylor.
Hey, I think so. I think I've liked all of their other albums more. I still would put this one on if I was going for a walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah. So would I. I just find it is clearly their
Do you know what it's missing? It's
weakest
that
album.
Every other album was every time you get to a new track, it's all right, what crazy shit are you going to do this time,
Yeah.
Vampire Weekend? And this one,
Song-ass
again, that middle
songs.
section was oh, okay, we just heard this, but
I think this is their first album that I feel the filler songs.
Honestly, I didn't know when songs had switched to new songs. I would just listen to it driving, and they all just blended together. If I heard them through the wall, they would have been the same song.
that's
Constant.
the case for a lot of bands, and it's not an issue. It's just with Vampire Weekend, we didn't think that would ever be the case.
Right.
Yeah.
They said that their past albums set the bar so high, so to give us an album of title withstanding, just wedding background music. This album will be played at every wedding for the next 30 years, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's a score. It's not an album.
Right. It is a very good album for a very particular mood that you want to be in. But if you're not in that mood, it's hard to get through.
The other
Also,
thing, too, is that #bracket so white. We have an opportunity to boot the whitest album of all time.
The whitest band of all time.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Tyler is a token or anything, but this is a good white album to get the fuck out of the bracket.
And this is a very good Tyler the Creator album. He started his transition with Flower Boy, and now this album came out. It is still raucous and a little weird, but he's no longer I'm eating cockroaches and I want to murder
dude,
everyone.
do you remember the horrorcore stuff? It was so
I
fucked
do.
up. I feel like I remember how fucked up it was, but then I went back and listened to Goblin, and I was just like, God, you're not okay because you're not admitting to yourself. Yeah. You're not admitting who you really are, and it's super messing with your head.
But now it's like, what's up, guys? I'm Tyler, the Creator. I am very gay and in love and missing people. So
that was
here's
probably
this.
his worst flow of the album.
It doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
It's just, but it sucks for Vampire Weekend that these two are going up because this is also obviously an experiment, but it always worked.
Yeah.
This was like an impeccably put together album. I bet there was a lot of tracks he made in this period that he didn't put on where Vampire Weekend's like, throw it all, put it all on there.
I do have to say that I feel okay kicking out 1,000 gex or 100 gex because we have this. Because there's a little of like, this is like a more...
Yeah. There's some gex in this.
There's some gex in this.
Yeah.
There's
It's like more mature gex in this, I think.
Yeah, and this is it. It sounds a lot like a person who just has been making exactly the music that they want to make since they were like 17 or whatever, and have always been in the public eye, and are like, here's this new thing that I'm trying, and like, but they knew when to not put stuff out.
So he's gay?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, as fuck.
His
Yes.
controversy was that he used the F word a lot.
Yes. And
Well, because before he was out as being homosexual, all his songs were like very, very anti-homosexual because he was pressing so hard on it. And then occasionally he would like allude to wanting to suck a dick.
Yeah.
And then finally he was like, okay, time out. I'm just gay and I'm just going to do like music now.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing that happened to him
just
and
relax
to
and make
music.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I'm just gonna chill back in a Hawaiian shirt and talk about how loving my white boyfriend.
I just want to
Everybody
kiss boys.
should.
It's not.
I just want to kiss boys. Yeah, and it's
That's a drop.
and it's very good. And like Flower Boy was,
Here we go.
and this is, it's less of a rap album, and he does dip more into like this is more of an R&B album, and I love it.
And one of the ways in which it does remind me of some of the Gex is that it's got a lot going on in every song. And I feel like you can hear something different every time you listen to it. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted.
There's a dog
I was
on the
listening to the
screen.
music and I got
Might pull out his
distracted.
penis.
Yeah, there is like the thing that this makes me think of is the jump for Childish Gambino from Because the Internet to
Awaken My Love.
Awaken My
Oh,
Love.
yeah.
For sure.
It like that tonally and musically, that is what the transition is. And similarly, I think this is like him being a more mature person and going like, I'm an adult and this is the music I want to jam out to.
And did like musical history research?
Yeah, like really like dove deep. And seeing interviews with Tyler, the Creator, he seems like a dude who does like, he just goes to record stores every day and he picks up stuff that he's never heard before, and he tries to listen to like 5 albums a day that he's never heard.
Can we do a little Vampire Weekend, though, before the
Yes,
inevitable
please.
happens?
Throw it on there.
This Life, the Van Morrison song. I need more Van Morrison in my daily life all the time. But
You son of a bitch!
you son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Their cheating refrain, like I'm cheating, like it's very melodic and catchy, but it's also like
I'm cheating on you.
horrifying lyrics put to very sunny, happy music will get me
Yeah.
every time. That song is great.
There are a lot of good songs on this Vampire Weekend record. I don't want to say that's like trash or anything.
No,
I really
yeah.
enjoy it.
No, but you
it
stepped
is-
up against a juggernaut and you got kicked in the nuts.
and it's too long. And make albums shorter, guys.
right.
Folks,
Yeah.
make albums
Because,
shorter.
like, for some reason, we just wish that we listened to more albums. Like, we wish
Yeah.
we could cross off more albums. Let's say that we have a list of 16 and we want to knock albums off that list.
Also, we think that we want albums to come out like 4 songs ahead of time so you can just listen to them and just get an idea what the album's going to sound like. They released this one in like dribs and drabs, and by the time the entire album came out, I was so sick of like the 6 songs they gave us initially. I think as much as it sounds like a good thing to do, I think you should like not do that.
yeah.
I think that you can be an artist and just release singles forever. That you'll be fine. Or just do albums. This in-between thing is weird.
That's like what Haley Steinfeld effect, where she's never released an album. She has just released several like multi-platinum songs. Like that's all she does.
Everybody should be more like Haley Steinfeld.
Everyone
I
should
agree
be
with
more
that
like
shit.
her. All right, now it's time to call for a vote. Cassie, which one you picking? Tyler, the Creator, or Vampire Weekend?
Tyler, the Creator.
I do take issue, though, with the comma. Is there supposed to be a comma there in the name?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because it's like his title is in apposition to his name, so it's renaming him without any other words in apposition. So
Like
yeah.
you're Ryan, the asshole.
Oh,
Ryan,
damn!
that's a perfect segue into your
That's-
vote.
That's an A positive insult.
Hey,
It's Tyler the asshole.
all right, Greg.
Tyler the asshole.
Caitlin.
Tyler's an asshole.
All right, that's it. Tyler's
Taylor's
moving
an
on.
asshole.
McKinnon, Mike, what would you have picked even if your vote mattered?
I was Tyler, the creator, absolutely.
Mike, yours as well?
Ryan the Creator, yes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, clean sweep for Tyler, the Creator.
Is that a first?
I think so. Yeah.
No,
Next up is Purple Mountains versus Sharon Van Etten, Remind Me Tomorrow. This matchup is two musical returns with very different personal outcomes. Purple Mountains is the first album in 10 years from indie musician David Berman, all about his personal sadness, and was released just before his death. While Remind Me Tomorrow is the return to music from Sharon Van Etten after taking a break to star in Netflix shows and have a baby, and is all about being content.
Wait, is the Glow chick?
No, she was in the OA. The OA. The question posed to you is, do you like happy or sad albums better?
What a lazy question. I want to say that every Sharon Van Etten album I find to be baffling that it's on the end of the year list and is so boring and forgettable.
Oh,
Fuck
wow.
off!
Dang.
Fuck off.
Holy
Here we go.
shit!
Yes,
Someone
yes,
is declaring
yes.
one of these female singer-songwriters should not be in the bracket.
But goddamn, Remind Me Tomorrow is
It's
one
so
of the
good.
most joyful, soulful albums I've ever heard.
Major
so good.
turnaround.
17 is, I think, one of my favorite
Yes.
songs
It's
in a
the
very
best.
long time. And I just like that it has a very slow build. Like,
Do you know what's great too
just
is that
starts.
in a year that we got like sort of an okay Jenny Lewis album, we had this.
we got a very good Jenny Lewis.
Oh, you guys miss good Jenny Lewis? Here you go.
Yeah, just let it sink in.
Are we allowed to just listen?
Like go home and just listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
And this is Sharon, Bonnet.
The
Sharon
Bonnet.
Van Etten.
Do you guys feel like if your name had a Von or a Van in the middle, like you would have to be more productive than you are right now?
I think so, yeah.
But evil, I definitely lean the evil way. I'd be like a baron or a duke of something.
Baron Von Duke.
How come if
Baron von
you
Duke of Latveria.
have a van in your name, that means you're fancy? But if you have a van in your garage, it means you're white trash.
Classic.
You touch kids.
So obviously, I think it sounds like we all really like this Sharon Van Etten album.
What was the other one?
Purple Mountains.
Purple Mountains,
All
Purple
right.
Mountains. So I have like, I guess it's not a quality question, but like he died a month after this album released. Can you
Yes.
Can you extricate yourself from listening to this and the messages in this album from that fact?
And did
I-
he even
I
think of his
can't.
father, Nick Cave, when he died? Like that's
Oh no! Fuck. But yeah, I do like. I cannot listen to this album and not think about the person behind.
Because every song is like, I am so empty and sad, and I
somebody
have
please
nothing.
help me.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
and,
while
like,
being fun, it's the silliest cry for help.
One thing I want to talk about that you guys have brought up off air is the voice, and we talked about this with Nick Cave. Can somebody's rock voice like just turn you off automatically?
Yeah, totally. And it happened. Yeah, like his voice did that to me. I said that, and then someone's like, he died. And I was like, oh, shit.
And you should feel bad.
But I like, as soon as he comes on almost every single song, it's not just that he sounds bad, but he does. He sounds goofy. It's like listening to Ernest sing or something.
okay.
Hey, Vern, I'm gonna die.
I have to say,
Ernest Commits Suicide is my favorite Ernest movie.
Jesus Christ, Ernest goes to jail in Epstein's.
One of me and Mike's bands is Parquet Courts, and it's
Yeah.
almost
Yes.
like you have to get over his voice in order to enjoy
Yes.
the music.
Cake,
And-
Parquet Courts, this guy.
That's I really liked this album a lot, and I think I dug his voice. Like it had it just has a
I think I know why you enjoyed it. It's because his voice, it's almost like a mix between, like when I listened to this, it was almost like healing dad music, because it's a mix between like
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett and like Steely
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
All
Like,
the dad music.
All the dad
Yeah.
music, like this album was healing dad music. Like this is a dad who, like, if you take away like the context for it, it's like a dad who like just went through a divorce and is like starting to heal from it. Like he just met somebody at the RC track and like they're going on a date. Like I had a whole vibe.
That's the most divorced dad thing to do of all time.
I don't want to be divorced. I want to be the most divorced.
It's sad baritone Weird Al is the vibe I got.
yeah, and you know what? I love that. I think it has
right?
it has a
I
ton
was
of personality, and I remember his voice. Like I think about it.
There's an album called Margaritas at the Mall. There's nothing more Jimmy Buffett than that.
Yeah, that's sad dad for
or
sure.
Purple Mountains?
Yeah.
That's insane. The other thing it reminds me of is, do you remember Sun Kill Moon?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit of that of like,
Just
oh,
a little
it does
happier.
sound like this, and I'm sorry.
Honestly, dude, if a guy sounds like that, you don't even expect him to go to the drive-thru. Like, you gotta stay home and text orders to things,
Which is
dude.
why he's so sad. He spent a decade alone playing Chicken with Oblivion because people mocked his voice.
Well,
Wow.
I would like
Jesus
a mocha
Christ.
if you could.
Mike, did you just come up with the phrase "playing chicken with Oblivion"?
No, it's a lyric from this album.
this album.
The
Oh,
best album of this year.
Oh, I missed that.
Wait,
lyric.
I'm sorry, Mike. What did you just say?
I said it's a lyric from this album, the best album from this year.
Purple
I
Mountains
fucking-
is
This is
album,
right up my
comma,
butt.
It's
the best
it's
This
so
album
good.
is right up my butt. It's amazing.
This is another one that is very difficult.
This is also the second album that you've called the best album of the year so far, right?
Yeah. What,
So
if
you've
there's a
actually
law?
shown restraint.
And the last one got booted too, so I'll keep doing it.
Well, it's now time to call for a vote.
I have no idea what the fuck is gonna happen.
Cassie,
I do.
which one you picking?
I'm thinking Purple Mountains.
What? I did
Brian.
not see that coming.
What's the other one?
Sharon Van
Van
Etten.
I'm picking 17.
Greg.
As someone who has previously been 17, I'm going to pick Sharon Van Etten.
Caitlin
Sharon Van Etten.
is 3-1. McKenna.
Purple Mountains.
Oh shit.
Mike.
You voted first.
This is a lot of pressure. I loved this Sharon Von Allen album more than I ever thought I could. I'm going to go back to it right away, but Purple Mountains is speaking to me right now.
No!
Baby. It's Purple Mountains.
Folks,
No!
it is 3-3
Okay.
on two albums that I love very much, and I didn't think I was going to have to vote on this.
That doesn't mean light 2 sparklers and run around the room. What are you doing right now?
You mind if I spark this? Both of these?
Okay, guys, I'm moving on Purple Mountain.
Unexpected.
I love this Sharon Van Etten
Boo.
album so much, but I love Purple Mountains also so much.
Oh my god, why do we hate women?
Yeah,
Should've
sexism.
talked about
It's straight up
Why do we
sexism.
hate women?
I
Sorry
got a
she's
Purple
a
mountain for you.
sorry she's alive and happy. Man.
Hey,
This
Greg
is the
hates dead people.
this is the OA getting canceled all over again.
you know what? It was right that the OA got canceled. All right, next up,
Were
Angel.
you that guy outside of Netflix saying thank you for canceling OA?
Yeah,
on the protest?
I was on a hunger strike until they confirmed that I was right that OA was bad. Angel Olsen's All Mirrors versus Fontaine's DC's Doggerel. With this matchup, the question you gotta answer for yourself is whether you like your power lyrics delivered by a sad lady or an angry man. Folks, are you a feminist or not?
Like you just proved that you were not.
I'm making it up with this one.
So Fontaine's DC is our parquet court submission. There's
Yeah,
a-
every year Mike and I get like one of our bands in the bracket.
Yep.
And this is
there's a
it.
Real. Let's just talk about Fontaine's DC because I have a feeling the way the room's gonna go.
Is there anything new here? That's my main question. Are we hearing
Irish?
anything new?
I've never heard an Irish band do this genre.
Billie
Yeah.
Eilish.
Here's the thing. I enjoyed this album while I listened to it, and I forgot every single
Yeah.
moment of it as soon as it was done.
You like this album? Say one chord progression.
It was the
CGG.
yeah. It was the Men in Black International
Okay,
of
you
albums.
got it.
I think what happened here, if I may be so bold, is that the board took into account ballots from the UK as far as top 10 lists go.
Yep.
And that's why this one got jammed up on the bracket.
Is that how Dave got here too?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our producer.
Our producer Dave from England. Okay, like this does smack, right? But it's
I'm like,
I love this.
If we had to pick one of these 16 artists to go to a live show,
Oh,
it's them
yeah.
for sure.
okay, but here's the thing.
Some elbows.
I heard that, and that is the exact tone and cadence of a
I'm
Idol
playing
song.
track 1, 2, and 10 at the exact
yeah.
It is the exact cadence of an Idol song from last year. Like I heard this
Oh,
song
yeah, for
already on
sure.
last year's bracket. And
Did
I
you
enjoyed
guys
it then?
Did you guys like this song when it was on the soundtrack for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2? Yeah, dude. Let's be grinding those rails.
Yeah, I absolutely loved playing as Darth Maul of this.
Oh, very good. Or Spider-Man, and you do the special Spider-Man manual,
Remember when
right?
Darth Maul would manual and have his little lightsaber and like help
Yeah,
his opponents?
yeah. You got the Force, bro. Why aren't you better at
Guys,
this?
let's fucking end this podcast and play some Tony Hawk 2.
Yeah, we'll be right back when we play Tony Hawk 2.
But first, we should talk about Angel Olsen. I love her.
Yeah, I think
And
we're
will
gonna
die
get.
for her.
I think we're gonna get more of a chance to talk about her.
Yeah, this is like the best.
This was
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
of all the singer.
Timeless, again.
Yeah, like just so exciting. Timeless because this one reminded me of was Kate Bush.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bush and Heart.
heavy.
Kate Bush
Yeah,
and Heart
Kate
smashed
Bush
together.
is the one from Glow.
No.
No.
Kate Bush is the older one. You're thinking of Kate something else.
Nash?
Winslet?
Kate Nash.
Kate
Nash.
It's Kate Nash.
Kate
She
Nash.
is the one from Glow. But yes, this is very like Angel Olsen is making like new Kate Bush music, and I love Kate Bush music, so I love everything that
You're
she
a
does.
Bushman.
I'm a Bushman.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
There's something about mixing like colloquial, like everyday words as lyrics mixed with theatrical operatic arrangements at the same time that is fucking amazing.
Angel Olsen and FKA Twigs are linked in my mind because their last albums I listened to and loved and thought that was probably the peak.
Yes.
And then they blew those last two albums away.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the previous Angel Olsen album. And this one, I was like, I'm excited but ready to get let down. This song came out as a single, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
This is my religion now. I worship this.
This was one of my, like, always get in the car and put it on. Like, unless I wanted to be super fired up. If it's got a nice kind of, like, mellow sound.
Where are you driving to that you have to be super fired up?
When I teach,
UFC matches?
I listen to music that gets me fired up first.
Oh, I
Because
do.
I'm going in there with my war face on, dude.
You have to.
Yeah.
Gary
lipstick
Glitter's
on.
Hey.
I used to listen to Rage Against the Machine in my car before every class. I'd go in and I'd be like, all right.
I feel like with not every, but a lot of the albums we've talked about putting on personas and authenticity, and I think that is the one thing I didn't feel from Angel Olsen was authenticity.
What?
Too much fake persona?
Too much fake persona. It just felt very trying towards later in the track, like
Like-
later in the albums.
Like you felt like she was trying for a very specific vibe.
Exactly.
And you could feel the trying.
Yes.
I disagree. I don't feel that way.
Okay.
But I think that's a valid.
All right, I'll leave. Bye.
Yeah. I think that
me, right?
That's my opinion.
You just will silence women. You just will do that.
Yeah.
That's just your whole deal.
Greg's a villain.
I like this, Greg.
I think I could see how you would feel that way, but I don't, and I
And it's
think
such a
she's
crapshoot with
wonderful.
all of these like solo artists of like, are we gonna buy into what they're selling? You know,
Yes.
and if you don't buy in, you don't buy in because it's
Right.
razor thin lines of whether or not you're going
And
to.
if you don't buy in, it kind
Yeah.
of ruins the
I'm,
album.
Yeah.
You saying that makes me wonder, like maybe I was already pre-bought in.
Yeah,
and,
right.
and,
for sure.
and so
I
I'm
was
blinded.
that last
Yeah.
last album.
Authenticity is such an interesting question because, like, I didn't like dig deep into Fontaine's DC, but are they working class angry drinkers? Like, that could also be a total fucking persona. But we're like, but it's a band, so they're real.
Are the Irish people working class drinkers?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm woke and believe Irish can do anything.
That's because you're from Philadelphia. Try to travel the world, man. you're gonna
Philly
see
to Baltimore.
you're gonna see a whole lot of Irish people, and trust me.
It's so easy to be woke because we still always have the Irish.
Yeah,
people
dude.
just take a dump on their head.
That famous Black Eyed Peas line of shitting on leprechauns is a colloquialism.
That's about how we can still
yeah,
trash Irish people.
They're like, hey, the Irish people are still the ones that we can shit on. Well, I'm going to call for a vote. Mike, which one you going for?
I want to call out a Fontaine's DC lyric that says, "We trip along disaster in the whirlwind under the free," which captures this era right now, but it's Angels Olsen.
Yeah,
Angels
obviously.
Olsen.
Angels Olsen, like
Angels
attorneys.
and the Olsen.
Yeah, attorneys general. McKenna, which one you going for?
I think I'm going to be the only one to break the trend, but I'm going with Fontaine's DC.
All right, Caitlin.
I literally listened to Angel Olsen so many times over and over again, and I literally can't remember one song of hers.
Wow, that hurts
I'm
me.
going for Fontaine's DC.
All right, Fontaine's DC now in the lead. Greg.
Caitlin, you're more of a Mary Kate and Ashley and not an Angel. fan.
I'm gonna go like a fun house, all mirrors.
Hey, that means Angel Olsen.
It sure does.
Ryan, which one are you doing?
I'm glad that I have the Fontaine's album. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna go into my
That's fun.
rotation. But there's no fucking way that All Mirrors isn't gonna move on past that Fontaine's
It's
album.
all mirrors.
Oops, all mirrors.
It's just like the movie.
What a dangerous cereal!
It's just like the movie Us. All
It definitely
mirrors.
chops up the top of your mouth.
Cassie, which one are you choosing?
Yeah, Ryan, like you said, there's no way it's moving on. I'm going to vote for Fontaine's.
God damn it, Cassie!
That is 3-3.
Uh-oh.
Taylor.
So I get to choose now.
Mike Pence in the house.
Hold on, Taylor was born an Angel Olsen fan. We have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, Angel Olsen's moving
Thank
on.
God.
Next, in our final from round one is Wayas Blood's Titanic Rising versus Lizzo's Because I Love You.
Fuck.
Wayas Blood is on indie pop church music lady, and Lizzo is a now major pop flute music lady. Is there any way for a lesser-known but dope-ass pop lady to beat the 2019 owning juggernaut that is Lizzo?
No.
If they release the greatest album of the year by far, then yes, Titanic Rising should absolutely move
It's so
on right
fucking
now.
good. Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. Lizzo deserves to be on this bracket.
Yes.
But she is the Cardi B of this year. She released an album that is fine.
It's fine. It's definitely fine.
Her personality,
Fine.
Lizzo the person owned 2019, and I love Lizzo the person. The album is fine.
It is totally fine. I would even go so far as to say fine plus.
It's fine plus.
How generous.
Here's the thing. It has some very extremely good songs on here. Some of the best songs of the year. It's also got some filler stinkers.
It's got a lot of filler.
And this is an album bracket.
Whereas Titanic Rising, whereas Way is Blood came in
Oh,
and said,
good.
like, what are you? A bunch of fucking ladies singing about bullshit? Here, I'm going to pick you up because you're very tiny compared to me, and I'm going to kick you so fucking hard down the street, it's insane. What if, and we've mentioned Joni Mitchell a lot, what if, this is what Way is Blood is to me, what if Joni Mitchell had My Chemical Romance producing the drama and the instrumentation behind them? Way is Blood is everything to me. Go ahead, argue.
Ryan just loves Titanic Rising because there's a song called Movies all about how life should be more like the movies, and that's what he's screamed
Okay,
about his
yeah.
whole life.
That song is fucking perfect, though.
It's
so good.
I love this album,
I really
but
like
it
that
shouldn't
song.
win. Let's go. It's a perfect song.
It's what changed my favorite band from Alien Ant Farm to Way is Blood.
They
it's-
really did a lot with this cover.
This is a song about movies and about the place of music in movies, and then has the most movie music of all time, which will probably be used in movies
Yeah.
for centuries to come.
This is movie music. The song.
Layers upon layers. But,
I just think, if I can speak for Taylor, if you vote for Lizzo, you're an idiot. You're a stupid idiot.
well, Ryan, I am a card-carrying idiot, as you know.
I do think, my stance is that the amount that a person owns a year should come into, account when
A
we...
little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a
when-
little bit. We have this argument every movie of the year episode. How much did it is? Why is Blood? I'm sorry, didn't own a fucking fraction, an iota of 2019. She put out a great album, didn't own the year, didn't touch the year at all.
It was just better than a C+ album.
Yeah.
C+?
Here's
You're
the
Are
thing.
you kidding me?
Such an angry man.
That's nutso.
I
I'm sorry
wouldn't
that
say
Lizzo put out an album all about loving your body and women empowerment,
Yeah.
and that really drives you nuts.
Sorry.
That's what you're against, Ryan.
Sorry you hate people of substance. Man,
Okay.
sizist much?
Here's the thing. I'm not a CC plus person. This is still a good album.
You're a Jolly guy.
You're
But-
an A+ person.
But I also you son of a bitch.
Fucking Mike.
That is an incredible joke.
Don't
Mike.
say that while we're not paying attention.
Yeah, but I think I have the same issue with this somewhat as you mentioned with Vampire Weekend, where several of these songs came out not just months, but a couple of them came out years before. And
Yeah.
they've just been floating around, and I heard them then. I was like, I like these, and now it's got to the point where okay, I liked those songs, and then the ones that I wasn't familiar with, the hit rate for those was much lower.
Yeah, it's not a high batting average.
I fully disagree.
I guess I just disagree with that. What songs?
Wrong.
I don't want to go through a list of what songs because I feel like
I
basically
do, song by song.
every song on this is a banger. My metric for it is every time I went to listen to music in 2019, there was an 80% chance I was just going to put on this Lizzo album.
Right?
I just kept going back and listening to it, and you just heard it all throughout the year, but not in a way that made me sad.
Never got old.
But you only heard the good songs that were not on the album.
No, so Lizzo made her reputation with this big bombastic bangers, but what this song offered is songs like Lingerie and Jerome. She can get sultry and sexy and slow, and they're
Yes.
fucking great.
Yeah, did you like the song Jerome? Because I really like that song, but is that one of the filler ones in your mind?
I mean, it's fine. It's less filler than I would think would come from most of this album. It's better than most of the
How
filler.
about Better in Color, the song that's going to be used in commercials nonstop over the next few years? That Love Looks Better in Color. Love looks better in
Yeah,
color.
it's a great song.
How
They're
about
all
Truth Hurts?
okay.
Catchy.
I don't love that song.
And all of it just pales in comparison to me to what Titanic Rising did as an
And
album.
I do think that my problem with this song is that it sounds like commercial music.
This is this is
It's a
iPod
big
commercial.
commercial.
Yeah,
Every iPod, shampoo, and Gillette.
but it's fun.
I feel like this album is a constant competition of what is mainstream popular and what is popular to, I don't know, not mainstream. and that's our constant competition. Like even with Billie Eilish versus the Kiwanawa, like
Kiwanuka.
Moana.
I don't know. I love Lizzo. I like this other album as well, and I thought it was great. I liked it better than Angel Olsen, but
I'm looking at his album, at this track list, and I would say I love like 11 of 14
Yes.
songs. That I can I look at their names and I can actually remember what it sounds like,
Right.
and I
Which
get
is not a
excited
lot of
about them.
albums.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember last year you brought up the Cardi B, like this is
Yes.
the Cardi B, and the argument that for Cardi B not being as great was it was doing a lot and only like being an A+ at some of it, and then being a B at the rest. But I
Yeah.
still think that makes a great album. I think just because you don't think every single element of every single song hits doesn't mean it's a bad album.
It does mean that it's still great, but like when you put it up against Way Is Blood, then there's just no comparison. Like Way Is Blood, like the first two songs on that album are like we think that we're gonna get the average album that we got on this bracket. Like the first song is like I'm a blonde girl in the '70s, like falling in love, and it's just like simple, and then it just goes nuts from there. It's the best album of the year.
All
I'm
right.
gonna get mad soon.
It is now
I'm gonna
time.
Take off my shoe and throw it through a
Ryan,
window.
it's time for you and I to get upset. It's time to call for a vote. Mike, which one is it?
Way Is Blood it's gorgeous and lush and mixes like giant bombastic what love feels like with like undercutting with everyday life, right? It's amazing. It's Lizzo.
All right. McKenna.
It's Lizzo.
All right. Caitlin.
I also really like Wise Blood, but I'm going with Lizzo.
Greg.
Yeah, Titanic Rising, first of all, is just a perfect name. It's
good
not
name.
that I don't like this album. It's that this was, for me, Lizzo is the album of the year just because it's the one I listen to the most. It's the one I went to over and over again. But that's nothing bad about Way Is Blood. I loved it. Some of the songs sounded like they came right from Zelda 2, and I'm in favor of that. But I will listen to the album, but I'm much more comfortable with Lizzo moving on.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that means that it's pretty much cinched up. Ryan and Cassie, what would you guys have voted for?
I would have gone with Lizzo.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ryan, listen, I love this Lizzo album, and I'm very happy that it's moving on. Way As Blood is one of my favorite albums of this year.
Yeah,
All right.
It's my number one, and I'm not a stupid idiot. So
Hey,
Yep.
I wasn't a prick when my number one didn't go on. Fuck you, Ryan.
you've had 4 number one.
And again, I am a card-carrying idiot. I freely admit that I'm a dumb person.
All right, we are now going to take a little break, tabulate the next brackets, and start with round 2 of your bracket. Now we are here in round 2. Our first matchup is going to be Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell versus Lizzo's 'Cause I Love You.
Oh, now we have to now. Are you
Yeah.
guys gonna be able to cut some shit?
Now this is a punch out. I feel like these are arguably 2 of the heaviest hitters for this bracket.
Yes, these two albums owned 2019.
And-
so this fight makes sense.
Yeah, this is the 1 seed versus, what was the Lizzo?
Lizzo's 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by that.
I will point out that was actually an upset when Lizzo moved on.
Upset. Uh-oh.
Based
Goodbye,
on the
chalk.
seeding. But so Lana Del Rey versus Lizzo, the battle of the L's, but only one of them will keep the L.
See, here's where we can marry up the musical understanding with the popularity understanding. When Norman fucking Rockwell came out, it owned as much in 2019 as any other album did. This is I feel like I didn't think of Lana Del Rey as quite as big a star as the reception of this album clearly indicated she is.
I feel like this album did get a larger reception than usual, but she is like an underground, huge personality.
for sure.
And that's every album
Like
of
Mole
hers
Man.
is always bigger than I expect. What? You're a bigger Mole Man than I thought you would be? And then she always is a bigger Mole Man. And this time it's the Moleman's moment, and that's Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell. Put that on her album. Do they do that with albums?
Post facto, put weird little snippets that somebody said on a podcast. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
Oh, I hate this song.
She made Sublime
Yes.
relevant.
Oh
It's-
God, I can't stand it.
Well, she made Sublime relevant outside of Orange County.
Yeah.
We were keeping it tight for a long time.
Oh yeah, listen, I moved here and it's still on the radio all the time.
See, I
You
have
guys
to
are
say,
wrong.
this is an example of how she clearly does have a persona.
Yes.
It is a trashy, weird thing to remake this song. One of the worst Sublime songs, and Sublime is one of the worst bands of all time. This is obviously a joke, but she can't. It doesn't count as being the persona if you're like, oh yeah, I'm a persona.
Yes.
Yeah,
joke.
the
Yeah.
persona.
I can't wait for her to cover April 26, 1992.
Yes,
Or that
yes.
1,000 Gex
Garden
line that we were
Grove.
talking about, where like you have to stay and not be too silly. If she was too silly, she would have covered like Papa Roach.
Uh-huh.
She stayed on this side.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
Man, Lana Del Rey's Scars is beautiful.
Tear my heart open.
Like
And so on.
Like this is just very specifically like an album where you go to Venice Beach and you see just a gross ass dude who has not showered in like 3 days working out, and he's like touching people in a weird way that you don't like, and you're like, California, baby, and that's this album.
This album is basically Camus' The Stranger.
Yes.
It's super bright,
Can't argue
but
with that. Don't
you're
worry.
full of existential dread. Right? You're so stoned that you basically don't want to move.
Yeah.
And you're just like, everything's so beautiful and I'm garbage.
And I do think both these albums are very important because if Norman fucking Rockwell's saying everything is beautiful and I'm garbage, more people should talk about that. And Lizzo has this like empowerment pop in a blender with every other genre. Both albums know a lot of musical history, which is a lot of the best albums do this year. And both have like, Lizzo's just this freight train of personality and a voice put together, but there is more depth in Norman.
If
fucking
Lizzo
Rockwell.
had covered Pawn Shop, would that put it more on the ground?
The definite, the
Hell
hands
yeah.
down
That's
worst
the
of
worst
live
one,
song.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
A full flute cover of Bad
That's something
Fish.
that we do have to talk about. Whoever plays flute on Lizzo's albums, very good.
It's
and
Lana
I
Del
feel,
Rey.
It's
man, when you can play flute, you fucking play
When you
flute.
can play
Oh,
flute, you do the
absolutely.
shoot.
yeah, you play the.
Guess
fuck
what? Here comes flute, everybody. I do think this is end of the trail for Lizzo.
I don't.
Yeah.
But it was right to have her
Well,
get this far.
Caitlin, speak
Yes.
more on that. You think Lizzo is better than Lana Del Rey?
Yes, I do. Oh my gosh.
Do you think?
Lizzo's
Do you
a
think
fucking
that
slap.
do you think that is because Lizzo is so good, or Lana Del Rey is bad?
Honestly, Lana Del Rey's album was like over an hour long, and
That is true.
I was wanting to change to another album halfway through. I understand it had it was really cohesive. There was a lot of themes throughout it. And
Every part of it was boring to me.
Yeah. She tied a lot of like the Norman fucking Rockwell. She tied it all together. So like all of the songs flowed together really well. But Lizzo, I feel like had a lot of ups and downs, and it's like you didn't know what to expect next.
There were
Whereas-
definitely some downs.
Yeah, there was.
Is that an oral sex
No, there were a
joke?
lot. There was
No.
No, he was saying there's
Yeah.
bad songs, which I disagree. There's a lot of moods on Lizzo's
Yes.
album
Yeah.
while still being cohesive.
Yes.
This is still like a week in the life of one
Yes, I
person.
think-
Where Lana Del Rey had a lot of the same
Yes.
moods.
One thing I like about Lizzo is half her songs are like, I'm super tough and I don't need anybody. And the other half are like, but also it reminds me of Little Women.
Yeah.
Like, I am
When she
strong,
was like,
I
"I'm
don't need
lonely,
anybody.
I'm so lonely.
But fuck, I don't need anybody, so
man.
I don't have anybody. So I feel super lonely. I do feel like there are those two spaces on that album, and that is
Yes.
complex.
And like the whole point of me is to like just disregard what females are supposed to do, but also, man, I do want that Saoirse Ronan, guys.
Saoirse Ronan.
God damn it, so good. Did
Saoirse
she
Ronan.
sing the Lizzo song?
Saoirse Ronan is my favorite album of 2019.
It is perhaps the whitest thing to do to pivot from talking about Lizzo to go instantly into Little Women, and then just be like, Greta Gerwig, everybody. Wow,
That's a
she
very
just gets it.
That's a very white thing to do. All right, it's time to call for a vote. Cassie, starting with you.
I'm gonna go with Lizzo because I feel like it was more of like a movement. Essentially, the Lana was a beautiful album. There's no denying that. It was a very good album, but I'm gonna go with Lizzo.
Ryan,
Lana Del Rey.
1-1. Greg,
I was 100% sure I was going to say Lana Del Rey, but honestly, truthfully, for me, just Greg to Greg talk, it really is Lizzo for me. So I'm going to go
shit.
with Lizzo.
okay.
Yeah,
Caitlin.
it's Lizzo.
McKenna,
You were being like 10,000
This
gex
is
right now.
really tough for me. But I think it's a discredit to say Lizzo doesn't have depth in her album. And I think the fact that she has depth but also joy and makes me want to just continuously listen, that's why it gets my vote. Lana
my
Del
God.
Rey is an amazing album, but
well, Mike, it is now irrelevant what your vote is, but what would it have been?
It would have been even as much as I talked up Lizzo. I think it's one of the best albums, and she's the best person of the year. Lana Del Rey is the only person who gave us like a novel as an album. It is. You'll get new things fucking every time you listen to Norman. fucking Rockwell.
R.I.P. Lana Del Rey's Norman
Our
fucking
number
Rockwell.
one seed.
Our number one
I
seed.
should have argued. I now feel like I should have argued a little more later.
Yeah,
earlier.
so that has now been knocked out. by Lizzo's "Cause I Love
It's
You."
the best album opener of the year is Lana Del Rey's "Goddamn You Man
Yes.
Child."
No way,
And then it
dude.
goes
The
from
opening
there.
to Lizzo's album is way better. That that is the most like lit beginning to an album of a lot of albums had.
It's okay. I like it.
It's fine. Plus,
It's
maybe.
yeah,
It's fine
I
plus.
like it. It's very good.
But I guess no other album has talked to me when she said your poetry's bad and you blame the news. That's all I've done all goddamn year.
That was just your wife.
That's very good. All right, well that is Lizzo. Moving on, your next matchup is Tyler the Creator's Igor versus FKA Twigs' Magdalene.
Ooh, no. Very difficult, guys. This one's tough. I don't know. Ooh.
Here's
The ghost of Greg ran
This
in.
is hot. Ah, boo.
here's the
But Greg Ghost is sarcastic, right? It seems like Greg Ghost knows exactly who should win.
No, I find this very surprising.
here's the question that I will pose to the table in order to help foster maybe some decisions.
As a host, good job.
Which album has the song Cellophane on it?
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's FKA.
And-
It's a little leading.
And then take that into consideration when you decide. I love this Tyler the Creator album a lot. Like I listened to it over and over. As I said before, I could not. I physically was restrained and could not stop listening to this FKA Twigs album. And I
Yeah.
enjoyed every moment of it.
Wait, somebody tied you down because of
Yeah,
sex thing?
an FKA Twigs came to my house.
I do want to hear more about that off air, Taylor. But I'm going to say the way I've decided I'm going to decide on these albums is if you put me like a baby down on a blanket and then surrounded me with the things and saw what I was going to grab.
like doing a bad custody hearing.
Yeah. Like, I think it's like Chinese babies, their first year, they put them on a blanket, and they're surrounded by things, and whatever they reach for is supposed to determine... Korean babies. It's supposed to determine
Korean baby.
how the rest of their life is going to go. I think definitely if you put both of these albums down and put me, Big Baby Greg, in front of them, I would certainly reach for Cellophane by FKA Twigs. Like, that's what I would go to listen to.
Yeah, it's
A lot
so,
more.
It's so good. For a month.
Is this Mr.
Because you can see
Cellophane?
right through me, look
You
right
asshole.
past me, and never know I'm there.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert. I, for a month solid, would get into the shower and play Cellophane and listen to it in the shower and cry a little bit.
Yeah.
Is she also like an incredible dancer?
Yes, she is. She is.
Does that seem unfair?
She is just a
Absolutely.
multi-talented, absolutely like
She was-
gorgeous, like incredibly beautiful model.
She was in
Like,
an Apple Music commercial where she
Yes.
did like a really long dance, and if you watch it, she dances like with herself. She like pulls herself out of a mirror, and then
Oh, you got to be next
she
level
dances
dancing
with
for that.
herself, and then one of herself runs off, and it's the one. It was not the one from the real world. It was the one from the mirror. So we have mirror FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs is one of those people who like every single thing that she does in her life, like every activity, is a work of art, and it's so fucking good. And I love her. And I
Do you know who she reminds me of? Tahani's sister.
yes,
That's her
Yes.
life.
yes.
For sure. All right, let's talk. Tyler the Creator. Igor is an impeccably put together
Yes.
album, and for how young he is, it's crazy that he made a fully forward album. I didn't know kids these days could still do like a front to back album.
Yeah, like this dude is like what 25, 26 now.
And
Can
this
we
is
do
his
peak
fourth
talk?
album.
Yeah,
Let's do peak talk. Is this it? Is this Tyler the Creator's peak?
I don't know. Like I thought that it was.
If you had a bet in Vegas right now.
I would say definitely not.
I thought that he had peaked already like a couple albums ago.
This
and he
is-
just keeps getting better.
John the Baptist saying, check out this dude Jesus, and Jesus is what comes next.
This feels like the first album of reinvention for Tyler the Creator, so I don't
Yes.
think it's anywhere close to his peak because he's now found new sound that he's just going to continue to perfect.
Yeah.
So he could crush a bracket very soon.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so, and I think potentially against other. If he was seated in another place in this bracket, he might make it even
Yeah.
like much
He
further.
could keep
yeah,
climbing, for sure.
I think it's just up against FKA Twigs.
He used to be the guy that would find the most clever way to say the most rancid things.
Yes.
And now he's like, can I be that clever and say beautiful things?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think he's that clever yet, but he's getting there.
So he was like Mike at a Cody.
Yes, very much. Very much.
All right, it's time to call for a vote. Greg,
Oh, for me, it's definitely FKA Twigs. Mary Magdalene.
Caitlin,
Oh gosh, this is hard. FKA Twigs.
McKenna.
This actually is easier for me. It's FKA Twigs.
Yep, Mike.
FKA
All right, so Cassie and Ryan, your votes don't matter.
I'm gonna say clean sweep it.
Yeah, For sure, FKA.
Yeah.
Congratulations, FKA Twigs. Moving on. Tyler, Creator, you had a very good album. That isn't moving on because you're up against FKA Twigs. Your next...
What happens when she changes her name?
To
AFK Twigs?
Yeah, well, she'll be FKA Twigs.
I love that.
Your next matchup is going to be Kiwanuka by Michael Kiwanuka versus Purple Mountains. Purple Mountains. Two self-titled albums, basically.
This is easy breezy for me. I was the only one not obviously blown away by Purple Mountains.
Oh, I was not either.
I didn't see the majesty.
Purple Mountains was very split, and it felt like Kiwanuka moved on a little bit easier. Do we think that that's going to happen again?
I think what do you guys want to talk about? Because I think that this is a clean one.
I have nothing to say about Purple Mountains. It's sad. I wish the guy were still alive and that the album were better.
I do too.
I think I said this before, but it's just too up my butt. It's fun, twang, sadness. It's fucking perfect. I got more every time I listen to it.
Yeah,
I love Kiwanuka. It's great. It just didn't. I've heard great funk albums before, and this was one of those. Where Purple Mountains, I don't know if I've heard this kind of album.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. Like, I am going to continue to listen to this Purple Mountains album.
The future albums?
Yes.
I got bad news for you, man. Right? Because this guy has passed from this world.
This album did make me want to go back and listen to the music he made before. It really,
Well, too bad, dude, because he's died.
It's all off the internet.
Wait, and they deleted all of his past
God
albums?
did, yeah.
Oh, God is so cool.
All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and call for a vote because it sounds like we're at that point. Mike, what's your vote for?
P Mountains.
Cassie.
Kiwanuka.
Kiwanuka.
Purple Mountains.
All right, well, it is Kiwanuka moving on, but
What would you have said, Taylor?
you know what? I don't have to.
Player.
I respect that. You are a coy boy.
I'm a coy boy.
I'm a coy
Or
boy.
you and
I'm a coy boy and a soy boy.
Oh, there's Koi Boy and Squirrel Girl comics.
All right, your next and final matchup for round 2 is Angel Olsen's All Mirrors versus Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Ghosteen.
All right, so this is where we get to it. Which album bored
real?
Caitlin?
Yes.
That is because you did not like either of these
I didn't
albums.
like either of these. So
Wait.
this is really hard for me.
This is hard in a way that is not hard for the rest of us.
The whole time she listened to both of these, she was like, what am I, an old parent?
Yes, that's what I felt like. Honestly, though, Ghosteen made me feel like I was listening to music with my grandma, but like my grandma doesn't have good music taste.
On like
So,
one of those, what do you call it, with the big horn thing? The record player with like the
Gramophone?
gramophone.
Got it.
Gramophone.
It's all grandmas listen to it. That's why they named it that.
So
Here's the Nick Cave. I was pretty quiet the last time we talked about him. It's just Tom Waits, Leonard Cohen light. It's bad poetry over spa music. I'm very sad his son died, but it is. It's and that first song that's a little different. It sounds like Hedwig and the Angry Inch, but a B-side. Like it wasn't good enough to be in the musical. It's all bad takes on other things that are done better. I fucking hate
Watch out for
Hey,
watch out for the takes, everybody. They're hot.
Hey, Mike, why didn't you bring that up in the first
Yeah.
segment, bud?
Join me.
Everybody had a lot of stuff to say, and I didn't want to talk up Dave. That album wasn't good either.
And so you didn't feel like it would be good for you to be like, hey, this dude whose kid died sucks, but also I guess I'm voting for him because this other thing sucks more?
Also, I think I did vote for Dave.
Jesus Christ.
He voted for the Kevin Kline president movie, Dave.
It's the best. It speaks to me
When we
everywhere.
do the podcast of the year, of our podcasts of the year, then we'll definitely talk about that moment.
Oh, that was a good moment.
Yeah, that was a great moment when he did vote for Dave after
Great.
all.
So, I mean, I'm this is hard for me in a way that I didn't think it would be.
With Ghosteen, I'm like, everything that I say about it, I do feel like a fraud that is trying to sound smart about music.
Okay,
and at
yes.
a certain point, I mean, I did like it. I'm glad that I listened to it, but at some point, I just have to give up on that. It's tiring to act like that.
Oh, wait, is it Ghost Teen? Is that what it is?
It's because his boy died. He lost his boy as a teen.
I will say, I loved this Nick Cave album. It made me feel very deeply. I cried several times listening to it.
Come on.
I truly
Shut
did.
the fuck up.
I felt like he was reading long run-on sentences out of his diary.
Yeah.
and
It was
that's
painful.
I love that. Listen, tear your
No, go to Mount Erie. If you want that, go to Mount Erie. The album about his wife dying is way better than this album.
Holy
that this
shit!
guy's
What's
kid
this guy?
dying.
What are you doing, Nick Cave? Good Lord. People buckle up.
He's got some bad seeds.
Gosh.
He's clearly murdering all of them, right?
Yeah, this is very upsetting.
Hold on.
There's other ways to
Caitlin,
get
you're saying
albums.
that his son died because it was a bad seed, and that's what he named his band
Ah.
That was a good Caitlin. Thanks, Ren, for highlighting it.
Bringing us back there.
All right. Well, I really love this album. Let's go to a vote.
Do we want to hear a little Nick Cave before we go?
Oh God, never
I
again.
swear to God, Ryan,
Yeah,
if it's the thing that I think it's gonna be.
I wouldn't. No, I'm done with that.
That's the old Ryan.
I don't do that shit.
This is new Ryan.
It was a very important.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Wait, this is
Nick Cave.
I'd love to hear Nick Cave's cover of Power of Love. Because you know what? Power of His Love couldn't save a song.
Oh, guys, I don't feel good about this. I feel
Like we're all
bad.
happy the son died.
Hey. Oh God. All right, Ryan.
Yeah.
What's your vote?
Okay. I love to go scene. Okay.
Yeah.
I have less ADD than Caitlin does, so I was able to get through it. But Angel Olsen, come on, it's all mirrors.
All right,
Yeah, definitely Angel Olsen.
Caitlin.
Show me all the mirrors.
McKenna.
Well, I don't think his son dying is no related to why I don't like this album.
Okay.
Clarify
I
that
think
I'm
she
not
doth
fucking
protest
with
too
why-
much.
Cool
That's
eulogy.
that's a weird way to lead into this.
I
all
like
mirrors.
albums from people who didn't have a dead
Yes.
son.
Thank you.
All right, well that is all mirrors. Is moving on. Mike and Cassie, what would you have voted for?
I would have gone 8.
Nick Cave, what are you guys
I kind of tuned out, guys.
Hey, what's going on? All right, so Angel Olsen, you move on. I'm happy with this result. I like both of these albums, but R.I.P. Nick Cave's son, and also this-
R.I.P. Reyes Blood, who should be in the bracket still and is not.
Boo fucking who. Go away.
This is all under protest.
All right, now we are going to close this chapter and move on, and we're going to close this bad boy out with our final rounds. After
Do an
this.
easy one.
Okay. What did you think about Jonas Brothers versus High School Musical the series, the soundtrack?
What'd you guys think of Injury Reserve? I liked him.
I like
Jailbreak the Tesla. Very
Jailbreak
cool.
the Tesla. Very good. Corona and Lime.
Yeah,
Very good.
Good
What
one.
the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, you guys are just free associating.
Are you
that
naming
shit.
things from Fast and Furious
Three
movies?
man weave. Great song.
Great. Very
All
good.
right. After this, we'll do the rest of the bracket. Now we are doing the semifinal matchups. Your first matchup is Lizzo's "Cause I Love You" versus FKA Twigs' "Magdalene."
FKA Twigs next.
Yeah, she made an indie pop opera. It's fucking,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous.
A papara.
Is this finally the moment where
This is where it ends. This is where it all ends.
the year of Lizzo can't propel her past FKA Twigs?
Which is crazy, but that means that like the FKA Twigs album is then better than Way is Blood, which is just not true. It's just not true.
I actually think that is true, Ryan.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry.
for sure.
Listen,
I agree.
I think nothing is true.
everything is permitted.
Everything is permitted. I'm an existentialist in the old school style.
Hey, I'm an existentialist in the old school style, and I'm here to.
Look, everybody loves the Sugar Hill Gang's song about their friend going to their friend Hank's house for chicken, but not the existential song. We should go to that more often. Imagine if I said that more clearly. Perfect.
Yeah, dude, that would be the
nailed it,
ideal
buddy.
joke.
Hey guys,
Absolutely
when Mike
nailed it.
pauses in his sentences, somebody else talk.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
That's the
Somebody
tree
else
hole.
say
Yeah.
Something else.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say about Lizzo's album?
It was so good, and
It's so good.
It's great.
love
It's
good.
good.
If I
Good
want to
album.
just get like fired up when I'm driving somewhere, I'll pop it in. If I want, like, it's good for cleaning. You know, you get really into it while you're
I'll clean that album
cleaning
all day.
Yeah,
It's a good fun
but
album.
FKA Twigs is where it starts. First of all, it did have a big presence in 2019, and
She
it's
has a special thanks on Uncut Gems.
there you
Oh,
go.
Shit.
There you go. But just the musicality, artistry of it, it's just
Do you know what's a bummer?
Summer.
She's gonna go out with Pete Davidson soon, and that
No.
sucks. Like
There's
that sucks
no.
to me.
Listen, Pete Davidson goes out with a lot of like famous people. FKA Twigs is not the type of person.
I don't know.
Pete
I
Davidson
don't know.
dates.
I don't know.
you know what? I just want them to be happy, be safe, kids. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Listen, Pete Davidson's not going to jerk off in his shed. That's all I'm going to say. Michael, you say your vote.
Are you gonna jerk off
I
in a
vote
shed,
for Pete
bud?
Davidson jerking off in a shed.
All right, I don't know which option
It's
that is.
FKA Twigs.
Of course.
Cassie,
FKA.
Ryan,
FKA Twigs.
Greg.
Yes, Twigs.
I'm Lizzo.
All right, McKenna.
FKA Twigs.
All right, Caitlin has bad opinions. FKA Twigs is moving on. Your next matchup in the semifinals is Kiwanuka by Michael Kiwanuka and All Mirrors by Angel Olsen. I will point out, Michael Kiwanuka, 14th seed in this bracket.
Dude.
It's because it's a
Now-
fucking phenomenal powerhouse of a record.
It is. I think it should have been seeded higher. I think people just kind of slept on it.
It's my choice in this matchup.
It came out a little late in the year, and that's why.
Somebody earlier was talking about how it's the album unbuilds instead of growing and climaxing. It gets like
Ryan said that.
It's and I think that again, a lot of these albums mirrors like the politics of the time. It's an end of the world album. In the perfect way. Like, I want to be hopeful, but it's so fucking dark. I want to be hopeful, but it's so fucking dark. I want to be hopeful.
I mean, Kiwanuka has those mirrors, but Angel Olsen has all mirrors.
Yes,
I just
she's
mic'd
all-
it.
That's great, dude. You just mic'd it up his door.
All mirrors, all the time. This is a hard matchup for me. I actually don't know which way I would go.
You have to figure that out soon.
Well, I don't. If you guys figure it out for me,
Oh, that's true.
I am the tiebreaker vote.
Hosts are cowards.
So for this, I'm gonna go with who brought. Like, we've been talking about like classicness and timelessness, and like who is doing the old and the new better. And I do think that Kiwanuka, if I have to pick, is doing old too hard. I think Angel Olsen is doing new better.
This sounds like it was like purposely recorded on old equipment,
Right.
using like old amps and old instruments.
crackle.
Stuff that is.
Yeah.
That's stuff that is absolutely up my butt.
Yeah.
I love.
Oh, and I loved it too.
I love old equipment.
You should see my balls.
You guys laugh like that was a joke. That's not a bit. I really do love old equipment.
That's why
I
we
collect
laugh.
old sound equipment.
Yeah, we laughed because you actually do.
Oh yeah.
You're a
it
hoarder,
did
bro.
feel like on a couple of songs, he added a couple subtle bleep blorps to be like, see, it's not just that I love the 70s, but bro, it's okay. You just love the 70s.
Yeah. Both of these albums are very good. Angel Olsen, what a powerhouse of a lady. Very good album.
Very
She will
emotional.
jump kick you no matter what.
Absolutely. Like she's what's new and good and fun, and every album surprises me in a way that I think I know what this album's going to sound like, and then I don't. It's very good. All right, I'm going to stop talking and call for a vote. Mike, what are you picking?
Angel Olsen.
Cassie?
Kiwanuka.
Angel Olsen.
Kiwanuka.
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 All right, and there we are. Michael Kiwanuka, 14th seed,
Wow.
is moving into the finals. This is huge, you guys.
This is so big. This is going to be all over the internet tomorrow.
This is
People are going to be
break it.
freaking out.
But what is FKA Twig seed?
FKA Twigs is
Like the-
fourth.
Okay.
So it is now, that is the finals, is the 4th seed, Mary Magdalene by FKA Twigs, against the 14th seed, Kiwanuka by Michael Kiwanuka.
Oh, both one word.
And is it too late to bring up Way Is Blood at this point?
I believe it, yes, that ship has sailed.
Oh,
much
but
like
wait,
the Titanic.
whose music is that? Oh my God! Descending from the rafters is Way Is Blood.
It is
Fuck
rising
off!
from the depths. Titanic.
Her tag team partner. For me, this is FKA Twigs. It was the year of FKA Twigs.
Yes.
This is very much a Greg final. Like, these were two
Yeah,
of
this
my...
is a very Greg final.
Oh, I
Top
think that's how you're
albums.
ending it. I'm done talking after I say this is his great
this
final.
a very Greg final. Full stop.
This is a wrap on Greg.
But I just think all the levels to FKA Twigs, you know, all the artistry, and maybe touching dimensions that a funk revival doesn't quite have the same depth of feeling for.
Yeah.
Kiwanuka is a great album, but I don't think it does as much as FKA Twigs does.
Yeah.
And I think that's the final, that's why my vote has swayed the way it has, just because you can accomplish so much in an album, and FKA Twigs proves that. Kiwanuka made a great album, but
Yeah.
it was not stellar.
That's. I think it comes down to, for me, Michael Kiwanuka made art, and FKA Twigs is art.
Yeah.
Like she herself just is art, and the thing that she does happens to also be art.
Like, you can see, like, the way that she eats dinner. It's
Yes.
probably very artistic and impressive.
Film
Like,
it, put that in a museum.
It feels like the way that she moves her body is over my head.
The way she puts doo-doo in the trash. What is your song?
Doo-doo in the toilet.
Put doo-doo
Yeah.
in the toilet.
Duty does not go in the trash can, Ryan.
Fuck you, bro. I'll do what I want.
All right. Does anyone else have any last words that they want to shout out before we go to votes?
There's no wrong answer. That's what I want to say.
Yes.
Like, there's no way this shakes out where we come up with a wrong answer.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that FKA Twigs sang about sex, but didn't make Caitlin mad.
yeah, she did it. She did it in a subtler way. I think that we listened to 14 amazing albums for this. Fuck 2 of them, and we're all winners no matter who wins this.
Yeah, this
Fucking
is the best. This is
Dad soccer coach. Thank you.
this is
I
my
coach
favorite.
dad soccer. Yes.
This is my favorite final in a long time. All right, let's go around the horn. McKenna, starting with you.
FKA Twigs.
Mike,
Twigs.
Cassie,
Yeah, it's the only album that could take down Kiwanuka for me. Twigs.
Ryan,
FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs.
and that is a clean sweep
Woo!
for FKA Twigs. Congratulations, guys! Our number 1, the best album of the year is FKA Twigs, Magdalene.
Who were the 3 seeds above her?
The 3 seeds above her were Norman fucking Rockwell, Billie Eilish's "When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?" and "Ghosteen" by Nick Cave and Bad Seeds.
We did good, right?
Yeah.
I
we
think
knocked
yeah,
him down.
yeah, we knocked him down. I think the only one that even would have been partially a hit for that one would have been Lana Del Rey, and I think FKA Twigs still would have come out for me above that one. But congratulations to FKA Twigs, you made a good album. You're gonna get your award. You can come down to the studio and pick up your award.
Yeah, the
anytime.
invitation for you to come on down, it stands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
you can still
anytime.
head on over.
It's sitting
Anytime.
here with 13 Rose McIver Best Actress Awards
Uh-huh.
for superhero.
I feel like the celebs think that it's going to be like a big imposition and that we say, come on down to get it, but we don't really mean it.
No,
but like,
we mean it.
we mean it. Yeah, come
It
on
would be good
down.
for us. And you know
Yeah,
what? Twigs Award from 2014 is still sitting here getting dusty. So please, come
Exactly.
yeah.
And I mean, we got Twigs around the studio, so you'll be right at home.
Well, she's formerly known as Twigs. She doesn't like him anymore. Can I play one Twig song? to
Yes,
set
you
us
can.
up?
Yeah, twig it up.
I swear to
you.
God, Ryan.
Man, it's going to be so good. No, it's going to be from
No,
Twigs.
he's serious now.
It's the one about clocks.
Yeah. It's going to be good. Just listen.
This is great. Great comedic timing there.
Yeah, it's going to be so
Ryan?
good. He's going to deliver.
It's just clocks. Remember her song about clocks?
Yeah. Woo! Well,
Taylor left.
that Taylor.
Caitlin, do you want to do the announcements at the end?
You should go over to yourpopfilter.com and look at all the cool stuff that's over there. And then you can go on patreon.com/yourpopfilter and donate a little portion of money so this place can stay afloat.
Thank you.
So you think people should take their money and donate it to our Patreon is what you're saying?
Yourpopfilter.com/Amazon is the other place that can give us money. Make that your new Amazon bookmark, and we would really appreciate it. Mike, tell us about other shows.
At your pop filter. Oh, I misread where you're going. On Twitter and Instagram, you should listen to the Superhero Hour, and the OCD and the Unnatural 20s. If you like anything that's good, you'll like 2 of those shows. The OCD is mostly for me and Ryan.
But you guys can listen to it if you'd like. We do make it available publicly.
Greg, social media?
Yes. Social media at your pop filter. That's going to work on Twitter. Boom. Instagram. Bam. Go on either one of those things. Hit us up. Dude, interact. If there's one thing we do is we transact all day. So come on in. Do a vote. Have a good day.
Do a vote.
Just do a vote, man. Just
Rock
do
the
a vote.
McKenna. Do we have anything else left to cover?
Which one of you is McKenna?
McKenna, favorite coffee?
Blonde Rush from Starbucks.
Yes. Very good.
Very
Shit.
good.
Wow. That's awesome. That
Let's
was
do a coffee
easy.
bracket. Taylor, you're back. Is there anything else we have to do?
Yeah, I forgot my phone. I think you guys covered it. You do all the podcasts.
Contact
It's
at
good.
yourpopfilter.com if you think
That's
other
an
coffee
email
is better.
address. Yeah, if you want us to find out your opinions in a more long form format, if you hit 280 characters on the other formats and you're like, this isn't enough, I need more, go to the email. It's what it's for.
What's movie of the year next week?
I don't know.
Comedy, right?
It's TV
It's
comedy.
TV comedy.
Shit gets real.
All right.
I will be hosting, and listen, it's going to be good, you guys. We had some great comedies. Comedy's
Yeah,
in
it's
a
gonna be
delicious,
good.
wonderful place, and we've all been fans of comedy since we were just stupid little kids. But comedy has really evolved into something so exciting. Just getting 16 shows was nearly freaking impossible. But we're going to narrow it down, Ryan, to just one, and that will be I Think You Should Leave. But we'll do the whole show.
Oh, no.
We'll do the whole
not,
show.
It can't be.
We'll do the whole
It is
show.
going
The
to
water
be.
stinks too much.
We'll do the
No
whole.
way.
Sing your water. What the hell's going on? The show will basically be us sitting around, and I will say, "Do you remember that one part from I Think You Should Leave?" And you'll say, "Yes." Do you remember this other part from I Think You Should Leave? As we did in our intro show.
All right,
Well,
Cassie, send us home with our new catchphrase for 2020 of how we leave the podcast.
Keep it sleazy.
3, 1. Jealous. Ooh, dark horse candidate. I hate that nobody said my name ever. What? Not even best big eyes? Nice. Clutch. That's on them. You chose good movies, Greg. Oh. This hit. Okay, but. Oh, shit. That hurts more than it should. Yep. You've studied them. Oh, do I stop? I stop.